Hey guys, welcome to Money Moves. I'll maybe come up with a better intro. But I've been wanting to start this YouTube channel for so long. I literally was ordering everything I needed and then I just couldn't think of what I want my topic to be on, what can I continue talking about, etc. So I just went to thinking about what was super important to me, what has made me into the woman I am today, and then what's impacted me the most in my life. And those things were definitely my family and then my job, or my career. So a little bit about myself. I actually come from a single mother household, and my mother has worked since before we were born. So like early teens, and she's just always been super hardworking, and I knew it was definitely hard for her to raise us. As a single mom, she had 3 kids at the time when we were growing up, and I'm the oldest. So I definitely had a lot of pressure to be the person to make it out, to be that role model for my siblings, and I hope that I did a good job. Sometimes I get compliments from my sister. She'll write a Facebook post and then say something sweet about me. But the main thing about this video is going to be about my transition from working in fast food, how I got into corporate world, and then how I've seen success. So I was actually referred in by someone I went to college with. Shout out to you, Alex Alonso. So this story is really funny. So I actually worked at the McDonald's that was a mile away from the company's building. And so he just ended up coming in one day on his lunch break, and I just think it's so crazy how he was working in that location, because there's 2 locations where I'm from. So basically he came in and then he saw me, he's like, I didn't know you worked here. And I'm like, I told you I work at McDonald's. I just didn't know it was this one. So after that, he would write me on Snapchat and basically asked me if I wanted to join the company. I'm like, no, I'm still in college. I obviously wouldn't have time to dedicate to it. So then they came out with a sourcing position, which was a lot more flexibility. Not that I used the flexibility, but a lot more flexibility. And then I got to basically shadow the recruiters. So I knew what I was gonna be doing if I were to be promoted to recruiter. And I think that was just so beneficial. It definitely helped me out, and knowing what I was getting into, the mistakes, seeing the recruiters make mistakes so that I wouldn't do the same thing when I was in the recruiter chair. And so basically, once I graduated college, which was in May 2018 from UCF, I was promoted to recruiter. And so that's where my, I would say, my learning and everything came into play from what I had learned before. And so I was actually able to hit my first big milestone in my company, my first full year as a recruiter, which means I got a 3-day expense paid vacation to Mexico, and it was great. It was just a different world. So I was actually working at McDonald's, I think since 2014, just flipping burgers. Flipping fries in the basket, yelling at people who came to work later than me because I was always late. That's not good. But so I was working there for a long time, and even when I was there, I just felt like I was never gonna get out of there. I was like, what skills do I have that I can use somewhere else? And so basically, I went to UCF in Orlando, Florida for communications, and I ended up having a group project that I made a lot of great friends from, who I'm still in contact with today. And so one of those friends ended up coming into the McDonald's that I work at, just a normal day, and he saw me and he was like, I didn't know you work here. And I'm like, I told you I work at McDonald's. And so he was like, I didn't know it was this one though. So then he'd hit me up on Snapchat and just reach out and say, hey, we have roles open at my company. Would you want to join? He's like, I know you worked super hard on our group projects, stayed up to 4 a.m. Working on them. So I feel like you'd be a really good fit and you work hard, which is what you would need to succeed. So basically he tried to refer me in a few times and I was like, no, like I don't have the time to dedicate, I'm still in college. So then they came out with a sourcing role, which is a little lower than a recruiter role, and it was a lot more flexibility. And I was like, yes, like I can be working there for $15 an hour, leave, I think I was making like $8.50 at McDonald's. So it's just really crazy for me to think about that I denied working as a recruiter there. So yeah, basically I interviewed, ended up getting the job, and that was history. So now going into my interview and how it went. So I actually had the delivery manager for the company, and then a recruiter as well, or recruiter lead. I think he was a recruiter at the time. When I initially interviewed for this job, I talked about my struggles at McDonald's because that was literally the only experience I had had. Besides a few other hostessing jobs that I had before that. So you just have to take what you have and work with it. If I was able to get into this role, I know I'll be able to help a few other people be able to get into a dream job maybe they have. It also helped that I was referred in. So I think it's really funny now to think back on how I was talking about, yeah, like when you can't make fries in time, like that was literally my struggle. But I'm like, hey, when there's like a lunch rush and you don't have that many people on the shift, what do you do? So usually with me, I'm just like always super positive. So it's easy for me to be like, okay, I can only do what I can do. I can only control what I can control right now. So let me make these fries. And that's literally what I kind of explained in my interview. And then about my motivation. So my mom was a single mom, so it was pretty easy for me to be like, hey, my motivation is to make my family proud, my grandma, my aunt, because they all want to see me make something out of myself in life. So just having that background, I think that really helped me, even though it's not a background that the majority of the people in staffing jobs come from. So just being able to be your true self, be honest, and be able to articulate what you've done, whether you were working as a cashier at Lowe's, maybe you were pushing buggies at Walmart, like that makes you no less valuable than someone else who has a little bit more experience than you. And I figured that out once I had been in the job for about a year. A lot of times I was just like, these people who are here, they come from recruiting backgrounds. They're obviously gonna be. Basically, I'm saying these people probably have never had to struggle in their life. But my current job definitely changed my opinion of things because everyone has their struggles. Like whether you came from a family where both of your parents were together, or if you came from having no parents to having one parent, everyone comes from somewhere and everyone has a story, is what I learned. Now, getting into the interviewing techniques, how to land these jobs, what you need to know, that's what I'm gonna be getting into in different videos on my channel. But for this video in specific, I wanted to just tell you a little bit about me, my background, and how I made it in corporate world, I guess. So yeah.